You know, it really, really sucks when people look at you as a leader and they care about your advice that you give them, and then they go off and they do something completely opposite of what you have been kind of preaching about for the past couple of months. I lost another young man to the streets. He didn't die. He's not in jail, but he chose to lead himself into that street life and not into a life of skateboarding and prosperity, everything that I kind of represent. You know, I'm looked at as a leader to a lot of these young guys and girls. I'm a little bit more seasoned than them. They ask me a lot about occupations that they want to get into, and I give them great examples and advice from a lot of my peers that are in these fields. And it just sucks that I've been talking to one of these young guys. He's over 18 now, he's an adult, but I've been talking to him for months about the trajectory of what he kind of wants to do with his life. And I never tell these young guys or girls anything that's bad for them. You know, it's crazy how when I was younger, your parents or other older folks will look at you like, just stay in school, stay in school. And nowadays, I'm that older parent that's telling these young people getting out of high school, stay in school, go to college and things like that. But it just sucks when you meet one of these troubled kids and you know that it's going to take resources and, you know, a lot of convincing these people from very, very bad backgrounds. You know, they come from very messed up situations. And for months, I'm telling this kid, like, you know, you could do so much things in your life. You just haven't really experienced life. There's so much more than what you've been taught and what you see currently. A lot of these young guys and girls, they could only see what's around them. They can't figure out that there's much more to it than that. And a lot of the things that I talk about, I would love for them to be able to realize that there's much more to life than what they can see. And it really sucks when you lose that person that you were really, really trying to convince into that life. You know, I know it's not my job. I'm not their parent, their older brother, sister. You know, I'm more of just like a figurehead in the skateboarding scene where I'm at. I've done a couple more things in my life, a little bit more accomplished. I'm older than most of these people. They ask me advice and I give it to them. But it really sucks when one of them goes off the deep end. They want to jump into the streets, full on jump into the streets. It really just sucks. You know, I've been telling this kid, go get a job, learn a great trade. If you don't want to go to school, which that's not even like it doesn't apply nowadays. If you're not going to college for some type of advanced technological computer engineering sort of thing, you know, like college, I can't even recommend college if it's not going to lead them to making a lot of money, you know. And this kid just kind of just threw everything out the window and wanted to be way more involved in the streets. What advice can I give you now, kid? You want to jump in the streets? You don't want to listen to your peers? You still want to kick it with some of your friends that are still skateboarding, but yet you're so deeply involved in the streets now? Now, if anybody wants to kick it with you, they might get sucked up into that drama that you're in too. What else can I tell you now? Other than be careful, watch your back, right? It really, really irks me. I wish there were more people to kind of help this kid out. I'm pretty sure he's surrounded by family members who are deeply involved in the streets. There is nothing good that comes out of that. If you come out of that with the least amount of damaged, unscathed, you might be able to learn a couple things about life, but you're only going to learn the hardest way. You're going to have to go through so much drama to learn these just key life values, you know? And it irks the crap out of me. Now I gotta tell all the other young people that hang out around him that just watch your back when you're with this person. You know, they don't really want to be around people who are doing what you guys are doing. They're trying to go to school. They're trying to learn trades. And this kid is over here learning how to be a Super Saiyan street guy. I can't save everybody, and I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to give great advice to the people that are willing to listen to me. But once you've chosen that path, I can no longer give you advice. Your allegiance isn't to your prosperity anymore. Your allegiance is to a whole different entity. You know, your allegiance is with the streets now. The code of the streets. The code of the streets is very unforgiving. It could only eat you up. It might not be my job, but I still have to continue my journey with this myself by providing. I'm an uncle to a lot of these young women, young men out here. I cannot give them bad advice, because if they listen to something I say that was wrong and it throws them off their trajectory, I'll feel like I was the cause of it. You know, I have personal experiences with people I've known that I've grown to love. They chose to be in the streets. They're no longer here. I got to call their mom every now and then just to say happy birthday to somebody that's no longer here. But I still love you guys. You know, it might not be my fault, but I definitely feel like if I would have tried a little bit harder, maybe if I would have taken an extra second or a minute to talk to them on the phone, that right there could have changed everything for them. But in certain situations, people get sucked up into a different lifestyle. And it's only because, I swear, it's only because they can't see what's beyond what's around them. If all you see is the streets and negativity, you will become that. And I'm so mad that this kid, he was surrounded by people who loved him, who cared about him, who all they want to do is the best for him. But in his immediate family, they were in that negative energy, and they got him now too. I'm very afraid for this young man to go out there and try to be somebody in life, because the way that he's going with the streets, it's probably not going to end up good for him. And I know I shouldn't feel bad, but I still do. I had a little brother. He passed away years ago to street violence. I think about him almost every single day. And I also think about, since then, it's been almost 7-8 years now. Since then, I realized that I have this big brother complex that turned into a big uncle complex now that I'm a little bit older. I'm in my mid-30s now. I got people who are still in high school asking me how they could jump into the real estate game, how they could become the next great barber, how they could run a business. All these things that I wish I was able to talk to my little brother about, but he couldn't see past what was around him. One thing that really changed my life and made me want to become somebody way more successful than what I was in certain moments, I was introduced to people who were successful, who did have that very nice car, who told me they had the keys to their own home. They like to go out on expensive trips and cruises to different countries, different states. I wish that a lot of these young people had a big brother or sister that could show them just that, and how to achieve that status that they have in life, how to achieve that status what it took for them to get to that point. You know, one of the greatest things I learned from, you know, people that were older than me that wanted to show me the ropes, you have to ask for help from people who are in that position. If this guy right here is a multi-millionaire and he's got a trucking business and you want to make that type of money in trucking, you ask that person exactly what he did. Every single detail, even the failures. Once they could teach you the failures, if you're smart, you won't have to go through that at all if you listen to other people's failures. Listen to all the parts that he failed at. Don't do that. And listen to all the great parts that they talked about and try to hone in on that. If you want to be successful, ask a successful person how they did it and follow to the T how they did it. That right there would have changed a lot of people's lives. My little brother would probably still be here if he was surrounded by people who would just show him the ropes. We could blame these kids all we want to, but in all reality, I really do feel like the previous generation has failed the next generation. My generation, the millennials, we definitely failed this next generation up and coming. We definitely failed. Do I feel like the generation before us failed us? Definitely, wholeheartedly. That is the truth in my heart, for sure. Oh my God. What does it mean for the future of this country when we're going to have to give the keys to the next generation, and that next generation, their mind is completely cooked? They're either so focused on social media, what they look like for social media. But that's going to be a horrific exchange of power, really. Like the generation before me, they barely want to give me the keys. So once I get the keys, and once I get too old enough, do I want to give the keys away to somebody else, especially knowing what the next generation looks like? Bro, you're kind of cooked, bro. I wouldn't even feel safe. I wouldn't even feel good giving them the keys right now. But it's kind of on us. We got to teach them. We got to teach them morals and ethics now, because apparently they don't have it. I hear how these high school kids talk to each other. It's terrible. Every single word that comes out of their mouth is cursing. My best advice that I gave this kid now: save up some money for bail. Have an extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to your name, because you're gonna need some bail money eventually. My advice don't even mean nothing to this kid anymore. You can listen to me talk all day, but if you don't take it to heart, then I'm wasting my time and effort with you. You're just gonna have to learn the hard way, which I don't want people to learn the hard way. I want them to learn the easy way. But the best way to learn is the hard way. You don't know how reckless you're driving until you get into a car accident or you accidentally hurt somebody, and then you want to take it serious. But the whole time you could just kind of put it in your head, hey, just don't drive like a psychopath, and you know, everything will be okay. But this next generation after me, they're just not like that. What does the future hold? You know, this pool of people are going to be our next politicians, our mechanics, our doctors, our lawyers. The skill gap. Either you're very, very skilled and you're a standout, or now you're just not. You're low-hanging fruit. I don't even think there is like a mediocre anymore. Either you got it or you don't. If you got it, man, you really, really got it. If you don't, man, you really, really don't. So I think I'll just continue to do what I've been doing and just refocus all my resources on the people at hand that are willing to listen. And if people don't want to listen, then that's fine. You know, It's almost like a teacher in a classroom. If there's one person being disruptive, that's fine. We'll just send you to on-campus suspension, and then we'll just carry on with the day. What else can I do? I don't want to waste any more resources talking to this kid. I almost feel kind of messed up that I gave up on him. But in a sense, he gave up on himself. What have I been doing this whole entire time? I've just been telling people how to make money. Go out and learn a great trade. It's okay if you want to be a plumber. Be the best plumber. It's okay if you got to flip some burgers just to learn how to flip burgers. Maybe one day you want to open up a burger shack. And then every burger that you flip is direct money back in your pockets. Because food is very, very lucrative. A lot of these young people, they don't understand. These are just the starting off basic skills that they're going to use to take them to the next level. I feel like I gave up on this kid, but this kid kind of gave up on himself. How else am I going to be able to go to sleep at night knowing that one of my young guys is back in the streets and he's possibly going to end up dead or in jail? But you know what? That's just my life. A lot of people that I've known have gotten swallowed up by the streets. They're no longer here, or they're somewhere off very, very far in a very dark place in their life. And I'm not here to drag those people back out the darkness. I'm pulling these people back up to go do what they need to do, which is go out there, learn how to be a productive member of society and be the best at it. We do not reward mediocrity. We only reward highly skilled standouts. People know that I'm not BSing them. I'm teaching them how to build credit, become a homeowner, how to buy a really, really nice car, their first car, leveraging all these things that they have in life. It's a balancing act with a lot of numbers and things of that sort. I'm just trying to teach them how to do that a lot sooner than later. I figured out very, very late in life how to be a lot more successful because I was a knucklehead. I wasn't a knucklehead enough to where I couldn't take anybody's advice. I just had to meet certain people that could tell me in my language. I think that's one of the key factors, is that we need people to tell us what we want to know in a way that we understand. That makes things way easier. Everything will take years to kind of see the fruits of your labor. Let's look at the couple year trajectory for the little knucklehead who wants to be in the streets compared to a couple years for a young man or a woman who just is working hard, slowly but surely at things. Sometimes these street dudes, they come up a lot very, very quick, and they'll show off what they've gained. It might be nice clothes, it might be nice jewelry, or a nice car. And the people who would like to work on foundational pieces very slowly, they might not have all the nice things right away. But believe that once they get to that level, those building blocks are very, very hard to knock down when it's too legit to quit. And somebody else who's done very, very, terrible things to get there, look where they are. Maybe it's the instant gratification that these younger folks want to see. They want to see a lot of money right away and to show it right away. That's got to be what it is. As soon as they make a good amount of money, they want to show it and show it off. I don't even blame the kids or the parents. It's like a cultural thing with me. I think the family values of our society is at an all-time low. Parents literally have to work more than one job to support their family. Do they have enough resources and family for family to take care of their kids while they're out working? Most people, I don't think they do. And there needs to be a cultural shift in our society. We should care more about our kids rather than just, okay, they're in school, they learn the basics, and then kick them out to the rest of the world, back into the wild. They're just not ready for it. When I was 18 and my parents tried to kick me into the jungle, I don't think I ever would have survived. Not built like that. Not yet. I wasn't yet. I am now. But for these kids, they're not ready for that. They don't even know how to write in cursive. If they can't write in cursive, what else can they do? Be really, really good at video games. That right there, a skill like that could help too, but they need to hone it in the right place. You know? It's a culture thing. How far has our society gone downhill? I wonder sometimes if the schools really teach the kids anything. I just remembered the other day, well, not the other day, it was months ago. This is the start of the new academic calendar season. Before summer, one of my younger friends, he was just graduating high school at that time, not too long ago. He gave me 2 pieces of paper and said that this was a lot of homework. And I looked at it and I opened it. I'm like, dude, only one side is double-sided. This is essentially 3 pages of homework for this one class. And I'm reading it. It was not that hard. I remember when I was in high school, we had to read like a whole like R.L. Stein, not R.L. Stein, I think that's Goosebumps. We had to read like a huge book every week. It was like 120 to 150 pages of reading a week. I didn't want to do that, but I had to if I wanted a good grade. Now these youngsters now in high school, do you guys learn? Are you guys being taught? Do you guys even care? Are the teachers just like, I just want to get you and get out? You know, just kind of like, you know, push you through the line like the DMV. Maybe that is what it is. Maybe they're underpaying these teachers. It's got to be. The teachers got to want to teach, but if you don't pay them enough, who cares, man? I'm just here for a paycheck. That's what sucks right now. People aren't getting paid enough to really excel at their job. If you pay me Snickle Fritz to teach a classroom, an overcrowded classroom at that, 30, 40 kids, oh Lord. Oh man, you have to pay me 6 figures with very, very low taxes. But this is California. They're gonna take like half of what I got as soon as before it even gets here to my pockets. They're gonna snake half of it away, damn near. Now that I really think about it, I actually just remembered how uneducated some of my younger friends were. They were just graduating high school, talking to this kid, and I asked them to read out loud to me like what's going on, you know, with this whatever document it was. And the way that he was reading out loud, I kind of laughed at him. I didn't want to be rude or anything, but I laughed at him. Like, dude, you sound stupid. You sound dumb. How are you graduating high school? You told me you had a 3-point-something GPA. When you're reading out loud, it doesn't sound like it. I don't want to sound rude, but kid, you sound dumb. This is a great school system that they're in too, in this little town that I'm in. And I've been through all across California, the Bay Area, Northern California, Central California, Southern California, all throughout California. We're supposed to be this gigantic, great, almighty state. And all throughout the whole state, there's like, man, we're so far behind in education. And this kid literally said for a whole year, if I remember correctly, a whole year, like, I'm doing great in school. I'm doing good. I got 3-point-something GPA. He opens his mouth and starts reading, and he sounds like he's a 0 point 1 GPA. How are you graduating high school? Like, oh my God. These kids are supposed to be the future, you know? And you're supposed to be our next politicians, electricians, nurses, doctors, paralegals, lawyers, attorneys. Oh my God. The skill gap now, I think, is like very, very huge in between people. Either you got it or you just don't. There is almost no in between. I think the in between and mediocre people are kind of like people my age, you know, mid-30s. That's like, we're old enough to remember not having our own cell phones and dial-up internet speed, but we're young enough to where we could still understand the social media aspects of modern society and why these kids are doing what they do. Like, I could still understand why people go crazy over Pokemon cards and wanting to scream at their parents, let's go to the card store or the store that has Pokemon cards, and go crazy. Like, I can still understand that. My parents can't. But I also understand why these young people, or I don't understand actually why these young people, they can't write cursive, but yet they still want to make $100,000 a year, but they don't want to go to school for it. They just want to dance on social media or something. Like, this is the fall of society. I hope y'all enjoyed watching this video. I enjoy making these videos. They're very therapeutic for me. Whether I'm out in the field pitching real estate and mortgage and I have downtime in my car, I love making a quick video. Or whether I have a quick lunch break at the barbershop, I love just coming into my little safe space here in my car, my office, and making a quick video about things that I went through. And once I went through them and got over them, it definitely helped me further my career or positively affected my lifestyle. So I'll keep making these videos for sure. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time.